Good morning. Today I wanted to paint this really beautiful nature scenery. So I saw this photograph on, I believe, Pinterest, and I wanted to use it as a starting off point and a reference to go from. I find that using reference images as you start your painting is a fantastic way to, you get to study something real, something that exists, something you've already vetted as a beautiful lighting, beautiful colors, maybe composition, etc. And you get to use that as a springboard to create your own piece based on that. So that's what I did. I just started having fun with recreating what I saw in the image, knowing that I would eventually start to deviate away from it. And this makes it just like a nice safe starting point as well, where you know you have that kind of baseline to go off of. You're not guessing everything as you go along. I'm not inventing a color palette completely based on my own experience or anything. So it's a nice way to start anything. If you're just kind of lacking ideas at a certain point and you want to just start making something, find a cool image that you really like and start trying to recreate what you see, trying to capture the lighting, capture the vibe, the mood, whatever. So that's what I was doing as I started the process of this painting. And then as I'm doing that, I'm starting to play with a little bit of composition and thinking, okay, how would I design this image to make it the most appealing to read as a viewer? I'm starting to think of potential character that I can put in to make a story and a context. So as I'm doing that, I'm playing with a little bit of the elements in the scene and seeing what works. As well, I'm starting to introduce other reference images as I go along, because now I know the type of environment we're in. I know what kind of trees I might be looking at for reference, the type of foliage, type of texture and quality of the ground, etc. And this whole process is incredibly fun and should be fun and explorative. So it's okay to go more saturated here and there. It's okay to desaturate other areas that you find fitting. It's okay to introduce other elements and push things, design things into a more theatrical statement. Now, part of this is a lot of trial and error as well. I do things along the way that I find to not work. I explore a lot. I test things. A lot of things I don't know the answer to until I try it. I have to try how many trees look good in this composition. What type of trees? Maybe no trees at all. What type of temperature do I want to keep ultimately in the final color grading of the image? So all these thoughts are going through my head as I'm designing this, and it's a lot to juggle, honestly. You're trying to balance out composition, you're trying to balance out designing a theatrical image while also figuring out brushstrokes and figuring out colors, figuring out the amount of texture detail versus not. Where do I want to value group things versus where do I want to have a lot more intricacy and contrast? And all these play full circle back into a compositionally designed image. If I have a lot of detail in one area, that's going to take away from another, and I can't have detail everywhere. I need to pick my areas of detail. And do they all have a nice relation to one another, etc.? Do they all support the ultimate statement, etc.? And all this, it's like a circular consideration that I'm constantly doing as I'm designing this image. Because ultimately, that's what makes a concept piece different from just a photograph, right? We don't want it to just be a hyper-realistic recreation of reality. We want it to have something new to it. Otherwise, there is not much point to creating this. At least for my sake, I find it way more fun.